Okay. Hello, thanks for joining us. And I'm Nikki Duffy from choosingfortoday.com, life coach, property investor, and energy healing facilitator. And I'm here today with the lovely Andrea Lazenby. Andrea, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, thanks for that. Thanks for inviting me. And hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Lazenby. I'm a certified access consciousness facilitator. And I have been involved in access for 7 years now, but it seems much longer. And I am what you call a transformational facilitator. So I can transform anything that you would like to transform. That's either personally, in your body or your business, and anything in between.
Fantastic. Okay, and thanks for joining me, because the first time Andrea and I met was I went on a 4-day foundation class that was facilitated by you and Fiona Cards. And wow, when you talk about transformational change, I had amazing transformational change, and my life has just lit up basically since then. So thank you very much for that.
I love to hear those stories. They make everything so worthwhile. Yeah.
So one of the questions I have is if you'd like to talk about any of the trainings that you did in order to get you where you are now. If there's anything that particular interest you'd like to share with us.
Yeah, so I'll just tell you a bit of background about me, really.
Lovely.
So from the year 2000, I've always been involved as a complementary therapist. So I've done many courses. I've got a really full toolbox. So you name it, I've done it or I've read it. So, EFT, TAT, TFT, IET, emotional emotrance practitioner, all kinds of massage, and I'm sure there's some things I've missed out as well. So I've always been a seeker, and every seeker finds, as they say. And of course I was a Reiki master as well. And I came across Access Consciousness listening to a webinar in October 2010, and I just thought, wow, this sounds really interesting. Sorry. And I thought, oh yeah, another training that's the best thing since sliced bread, because they always are, aren't they? And I thought, wow, do I really want to do something else? Haven't I done enough already? I live in Stoke-on-Trent, and the training was in London, because at that time, not many people have heard about Access Consciousness now, and it's 2017. So you can imagine in 2010, nobody had heard of it. And so all the trainers that came over to do the training, it was always in London, and they were always American. So I left it on the back burner for a bit, and I thought, oh no, I'm not going to do it, because that's even more money again. And then that's money to get on the train and then stay in a hotel. And, we go to all these crazy places, don't we, to justify why we're not choosing something. And I went away, but it kept bugging me. And so I looked it up again on the internet, and then I signed up for the training, and that was it, really. Once I went down, that was my first class, was Learn the Bars, which is a standalone class that you can learn all about access bars in a day's class, and you actually become a certified practitioner of that. Highly, highly recommend it, even if you do anything else with it.
Yeah, so the bars is a hands-on energetic body process, isn't it, that you can learn in a whole day, and that's something I teach and you teach it as well, and it is phenomenal and absolutely can be life-changing. Yeah.
That's right. Just one session of somebody touching points on your head, you can't believe could change your life so dramatically and drastically. And so even if you just want to, why not just give it a go, try it out, go for a session. There's lots of bars practitioners all over the world now. as Nikki's just said, she's a teacher, but she's also a practitioner. So I'm sure you do private sessions as I do. And you can't describe it to somebody what it feels like. You just have to go and experience it. So I would just say, why not?
Absolutely.
So it's not even like a massage, because massage can be, if you've got issues about being touched or being close to other people. But this is so remote. It's just touching your head and you lie down, you're fully clothed and all of that. So why not just give it a go and your life can change. So I went down, I did the training, which was full day, and got back on the train the next day, and I thought, I didn't really feel that different, but I knew something was different. Yeah. So everybody's experience of the sessions are different, and then each session is different as well. So only you know what is changed for you, and you might not even realize that until 6 months, and you think, well, do you know what? It was from that date that my whole life started to change. So it's kind of like that. Since I've been doing it, doing sessions, I've had so many testimonials and reports back from people. Sometimes I showcase it at expos. So people can come and have like a taster session of 20 minutes instead of the hour session or an hour and a half. And they even report back after just a 20-minute session. Some people have have completed their degrees, which they had stalled because they just procrastinated on it. And they've told me, after 20 minutes of that thing where you touch my head, I've completed my degree.
So they got halfway through a university degree and then came to a point blank and 20 minutes of bars and they've gone for it again.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it? And then somebody else contacted me after the 20-minute session and said, I've been trying to give up smoking forever. And after 20 minutes of that thing that you did for me, I've given it up.
Wow.
So we think that everything has to be hard work, and we've got to really try to do things. And then we define ourselves by all of the bad choices that we've made, or these bad habits that we've got. And you don't really need to do anything. All you need to do is go and get your head touched. That's it. How easy does it get?
Yeah. And I love that. It's just simple, gentle touch, isn't it? It's not like go and get your head examined and talk about all your pain and all the rotten stuff. It's just really gentle, really easy. Yeah. How does it get any better than that?
How does it? What else is possible? And then when you find out, if you go to a class as well, so it's a fully certified practitioner training, so you can then start it up as a business for yourself if that's what you'd like to do, or add it onto the menu of things if you're already a therapist doing other things. And even if you're not any of those, if you just want to have a day out for yourself and be pampered and feel good the whole day, why not just choose a class? I could highly recommend it.
Absolutely. And my first class that I went to with my husband, so that we could do bars swap, so we can swap with each other. And a lot of parents have found it very beneficial to give their children bar sessions, and it can help with behaviour, it can help with retention, memory retention, and education retention as well, like you said about the university. But children as well, they really take to it, don't they?
That's it. You've just reminded me of a few more testimonials that I've had. A guy who had failed his heavy goods vehicle driving license twice, and he heard about bars, and he came along and he said, I've got to pass this time because of all the money I've invested, and then I've got to be earning money. So he only came and he had 2 sessions before he had his test, and then he contacted me and he said, I've passed. So it can be used for anything, and you don't even need to have a reason, but it works across lots of levels. And then a young lady who's been doing her A-levels has been coming to me before her exams because she was stressed, and that stress, the actual physical change that happens in your body when you're stressed is that all the blood is taken away from the front of your brain, which is your thinking part, and it's rerouted to just be in your fight or flight center, which is at the back of the head, the reptilian brain, if you like. So you can't think when you're stressed. So if you could bypass being stressed, how much more of your brain could you access for tests and things like that? So that's pretty much how it works. And you know, if you're, like you've just said, if you could come along with somebody like your husband or a girlfriend or something, and then you can give each other treatments, and then how good would you both feel all the time? And can you, you know, one of my greatest motivations is to teach as many people as I can bars, because when we all live such stressful lives, and you know, if your husband comes in and he's had a bad day, you've had a bad day, and then you just start arguing, bickering with one another, rather than just come in the door and say, do you know, I've had a shit day, let's go run some bars. How much change would that create in your life, in your relationships, and everybody that you come into contact with, your neighbours, your children? So it's just such a phenomenal knock-on effect to everybody. And if everybody on the planet had the bars run every day, we would just be in a much better place.
Absolutely. I'm with you on that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
My question. So, yeah, so one of the questions I've got is, was there a life event for you that triggered you learning about this, or even doing your holistic business in the first place?
Well, you know, not specifically one event. It was just that I was desperately unhappy, and I couldn't put my finger on it. It wasn't because of anything. It was just, I was constantly feeling down and depressed, and oh God, I've got to get through another day. And I mean, to the outside world, I mean, you never know what's going on with somebody, because to the outside world, I always seemed fine and upbeat, but that was just, you know, we all wear lots of masks. And it's only just recently now that people have started to talk about mental health. But because it's such a taboo subject. So you don't have to be diagnosed as clinically depressed or on depression tablets or anything like that. It's just that you know that there's something else possible and you're not living up to your full potential. And how do you do that? And that's what I was just seeking all of the time. I also wanted to be a contribution to the world and to other people. How could I do that? There wasn't any, I mean, that certainly wasn't discussed at careers at school. So my careers at school was I could be a librarian, a nurse, or a secretary. And that was pretty much it.
That was mine as well. But instead of nurse, it was a teacher. And by that time at school, I just hated school so much. The thought of spending a moment longer in school was just like, you've got to be joking.
That's it. Oh, dear me. And it wasn't until I came, even though I'd done all this other training, I wasn't ignited to such a level as it happens when you come across the tools of access consciousness, as well as having your bars run. So every day I'm just effervescing with ideas about what I can do and where I can go. I write blog posts, you know, I become a graphic designer. I didn't know I could do all of that.
Wow. Yes, yeah. And excited by life rather than like,
yeah, instead of getting through the day, it's what can I get from the day.
Wow. Yeah,
big change. And I remember Dr. Dane here, who is co-founder of Access Consciousness, who was a chiropractor, and he explained it perfectly. And he said, you know, one of those days when you get up and you feel like there's an elephant sitting on your head. And I'd never described it like that before, but yeah, I got that. That's what you feel like. So yeah, so now it's not to say that that doesn't happen, but you can change that in a moment with the tools of access, because you can immediately ask a question and, oh, who am I today and what grand and glorious adventure am I having? And that one simple question can just change the energy that you be in that moment, which turns around the whole day. So it's just a completely different way of being. And then if you get into a real funk in the day and you feel like your head's going to be exploding, you just ring somebody up and say, can you come and run my bars? And that's it. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's like defragging the computer. You know that your computer works so much better after it's been defragged.
Absolutely.
And that's what our brain's like.
Yeah, yeah. So another question I've got is, was there like a massive obstacle? What's the biggest obstacle that you've had to overcome in your business or to create your business?
Just everything, really.
Everything in the whole world.
Yeah, you know, I did have, you know, moderate computer skills to begin with, and not to say that you have to even have that, but you know, you create your business as you want to. So if you do want to go and hire some people to do it for you, that's great. But I wasn't at that place when I first started. So I had to navigate around all of these new LinkedIn, Facebook's, how to put post events up, how to do graphics for that.
So that was a big learning curve for you.
Yeah. Yeah, but within Access Consciousness as well, there's so many people to ask, which is great. It's a great community that you can ask any question, and you know, there's usually quite a few people, not just one person, who will give you a hand with something. Public speaking, they say that most people would rather die than do public speaking. And it wasn't something that I'd even considered doing before. But with the tools of access, again, you just get up there, and now I can speak to large groups without any fear at all, even without a script. So that's totally amazing, because once you open yourself, once you start to delete all of these programs and limitations that we've taken on, you find you. So the strapline of Access Consciousness is empowering you to know. And so it's not replacing all of your belief systems with another belief system. It's deleting all belief systems that you've been implanted and explanted with, which then opens you up to know you and access universal knowledge, which is what we're all capable of doing once we get rid of all of these shadow selves and false programs. So it's as simple as you just ask the universe a question and it gives you a download.
Wow.
How hard is this?
Yes, because in this reality, we're taught that we have to, you know, take on what other people say and fit into that partition, and, you know, basically not be ourselves, be what we believe other people and other careers or you know, our parents or society wants and expects us to be.
Yeah.
And and that can be very different from who we actually be and what we actually know. You know, close off what we know in this reality to try and take on what we think we're supposed to do and be.
Yeah, that's it. So we spend most of our energy keeping our true self away from us.
Wow.
So many people are so depressed and tired, and that's the biggest reason why.
Yeah, because we're using so much energy to try and be something we're not.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
What a relief it is when we can let all that go using the tools of access. And wow.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So it sounds too good to be true, which is kind of what I thought when I first heard it.
Me
you know,
too.
Best thing since sliced bread. I brought lots of loaves. But I am really pleased with my little self. I pat myself on the back all the time and say, wow, thank you for choosing that. Thank you for choosing more. Thanks for taking that extra step. So, you know, it's not about excluding everything that you know already when you come to Access Consciousness, you can still carry on doing and being whatever you were doing, but you know that something else is possible as well. So everything is inclusive rather than excluded. So, you know, like, so there are lots of people who come to a bars class, who go off and they just offer that as one of the treatments that they offer to their clients. So it's not like you have to stop doing everything else and just do the bars or use the tools of Access Consciousness. You know, it's just about finding what works for you and choosing that. And being aware of, yeah, I've chosen that, but, you know, I can choose something different if I want to again. So that's another thing about this reality, is that we think that, you know, choice is like final, isn't it? You made your bed, you've got to lie in it, till death us do part, and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, which has not been fun for me at all. Whereas with the tools of Access Consciousness, we've discovered that you know, you can change, make a fresh choice all the time. Fresh choice, fresh choice. It's which is choose again. Yeah,
which, you know, you can just feel into that. It feels like you're alive and you're living, which is exactly the opposite of the feelings that I had before I came to Access, because it was kind of, your life's dead. It's chosen for you. You know, when they come to you at, say, 12, and you've got to choose what career you want by the subjects that you're going to study in high school. What? Why can't you just choose something because you enjoy it and it's fun for you? And, oh, I've done that for a bit, and now what would I like to choose? So, you know, and we're coming away from that as well in this reality, because, I mean, the statistics for people who are being made redundant just lately is quite high.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the world's in turmoil and everything's changing. So what would it be like if you had tools at your fingertips that could change the way that you feel in every moment, in any situation, to create a different possibility, which is what the tools of Access Consciousness do. So even in spite of, if you were made redundant, you wouldn't feel on a scrap heap, or you wouldn't think that that was the end of your life, because you would know that your life can be created by you in every moment, and that's really empowering.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you were so I'm looking for business building tips. So if you were to give your top tips for someone who wanted to expand their holistic business, or maybe start an Access Consciousness bars business, what would you say has been really powerful for you?
Well, never give in, never give up, and never quit. That's the start of it. And ask, who can you add to your business that could expand your business? So we think that we have to do everything ourselves. In the beginning, you might, but what else is possible? And we also can get hung up thinking that nobody can do what we can do as well as we can do it. So if you've got, so your belief creates your reality. And if you've got that as a belief, then what are you going to do with that? You're going to go out and you're going to hire people who make you right. So you're going to employ people that can't do as good a job as you. Yeah. So what if you could ask, who could I add to my business that's going to expand my business and my money flows? And so in Access, we ask a question. We don't go for an answer. We ask the question to gain an awareness. So, and that awareness can come in many different ways. You can, you know, hear somebody talking, or you can open a magazine, see something on TV, or just have the download from the universe. But it also requires action steps. So you could just put an advert out, but to get out of your point of view that you've got to do it all.
Right. Yes. Very, very helpful. Yeah. Because we get so stuck in that, and then we can be overwhelmed by, oh my God, I've got to do it all. And like you said, other people can be an energetic contribution to our business, as well as, you know, we don't just have to add people by employing someone full time. There can be lots of different ways that people can contribute to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you don't even have to pay them money, do you? You can offer them a bar session or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
But you've got to, you know, so access is always about, it's never about but or because, which is what we get into habits of talking like. If you were to just supplement or substitute but and because for and, how could that open up your world more? So that's another little tool. Because we want to expand our life, increase it, but because it always becomes a limitation and cuts off possibility, whereas and increases our life, our living, and the possibilities that are available to us.
Fantastic, thank you. And so the question I've got is about what type of problems do people come to you? What's your type of come to you with, and how do you tend to solve them?
Okay, well, there isn't just one problem. I'm sure you've seen that in the world. More than one. So people come to me with physical, mental, emotional issues. So it's across the board. So you can either come to me physically, where I can do a hands-on body healing process, and that's for any condition. And then, or indeed, you can have your bars run, which works across every condition as well, mental, physical, and emotional. Or you can have a Skype session with me, and we can see where you're stuck, what limitations you're operating from, and what that's creating in your life. Start to delete those limitations and create a plan, action plan for you to go forward in your life, your business, whatever, relationships. So you name it, I can deal with it with Access Consciousness.
Fantastic, fantastic, thank you. And if people wanted to get in touch with you, Andrea, what would be the best way? We'll put some links in the thing below, but what would be the best ways to get in touch?
Just drop me an email at andrea.lazenby, Lazenby, at mail.com, not gmail.com, mail.com. Or you can check out my website, which is www.mindandbodysolutions.net, or you can drop me a text or give me a phone on 07906 908 123, and of course that is +44 because we're in England. So don't sit there. You know, life and your life only changes when you choose to make a change. It's not going to happen if you keep sitting there thinking about it. You've got to actually request, demand if you're a request of the universe that this changes, and who can I talk to? Who can assist me with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So don't sit there. I mean, it's not a dress rehearsal, is it? Life. Yeah. And every day that we're spending not in joy is another day lost to us.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's just choose life.
And yes, so if you would like Andrea to help you choose more of the fun things for you that's fun in your life, then please get in touch with her. And so thank you so much for joining me today, Andrea. It's been a lot of fun.
Thanks, Nikki.
Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, bye.